What's up? It's Black History Month, so let's cook something to celebrate. So I'm going to be making what is called red rice. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later on in the video. But first thing we're going to do is start with our first few ingredients, which is a medium onion, 1 bell pepper, and about 3 stalks of celery. All of those are going to get diced into about the same medium size. This mixture of equal parts onion, pepper, and celery is what is known as the Trinity in Cajun and Creole cuisine. You may be more familiar with the mix of onion, celery, and carrots called mirepoix. Well, this is similar to that. And yes, you will find these 3 vegetables used in other southern dishes and other cuisines, but this is the basis, almost the heart of Louisiana cooking. In addition to the onions, peppers, and celery, mince 2 to 3 cloves of garlic or 2 tablespoons of already minced garlic, if you get it that way. Once your vegetables are all diced up, set those aside, set the minced garlic aside, and then we'll move on to the next ingredient that we need to prep before it's time to cook. It's time for the bacon. This is just some regular cut bacon from the grocery store. We're going to cut it up into what, if you're fancy, may be called something similar to lardons, but we're going to keep it simple and call it strips. Once cut, your bacon should look about like this, and now it's time to get cooking. Add the bacon to a large pot or Dutch oven on low heat. The goal here is to cook the bacon and render off some of the fat. Let your bacon cook on low to medium heat about 8 minutes until the fat continues to render off. It should look like you put a bunch of grease in the bottom of the pan. Once the bacon starts turning golden brown, remove it from the pan. Use a slotted spoon so that you can leave the grease in and take the bacon out. Put that in a container with some paper towel and set it on the side. Add in your Trinity or your onions, peppers, and celery into your pan with the bacon grease on medium, and you're going to saute those until they become soft and the onions turn translucent. And at this time, you can add in the garlic that was minced earlier and stir that into the vegetables in the pan. And now for the main ingredient, add in 2 cups of long grain white rice into the fat. Going to cook it to kind of get a toasty, nutty flavor, parching the rice before adding in any liquid. Cook the rice grains for about 3 minutes, then it's time to season. Add in some fresh cracked pepper, some salt, and some sugar. Yes, white sugar, because that'll help balance out the acidity from the tomatoes that we're going to add in. Now it's time to add liquid to the rice, so add in a cup of tomato puree, and because there's 2 cups of rice, the rice is going to need 4 cups of liquid, so add in 4 cups of chicken broth or vegetable broth. Because there's more than just rice in the pot that could take up some of the moisture, I add in a little bit more liquid than what's required for the ratio of rice to liquid. So add in a half a cup extra of stock, or you can just rinse out a half a cup of water in the can or cup that says tomato puree was in and dump that in. Depending on how spicy you like your food, add in a couple drops of your favorite hot sauce, or you can add in a little sprinkle of cayenne pepper. Last ingredient is adding back in that bacon that was cooked off earlier and stirring to make sure that the water gets hot enough to cook the rice while it's in the oven. Bring it to a rolling boil before covering it with a lid and then putting it into the oven at 350 degrees. It's going to cook for 45 to 50 minutes until liquid is absorbed and rice becomes tender. Check on it about halfway through to make sure that it doesn't need more liquid and it's cooking. The rice is fresh and hot out of the oven, so all that needs to be done is fluffing the rice to make sure that any ingredients that floated to the top can get stirred right back in. Red rice is also known as Charleston red rice and is a popular dish in the American South and amongst the Gullah Geechee people of South Carolina. Red rice is not exclusive to Black culture, so check out the video in the description below to learn the story of how it's connected to other traditions in other countries, because it seems like globally cuisines have determined that rice, tomatoes, with a couple other things taste pretty good, and I agree. Comment below if you tried this dish before or had something similar. Also, make sure you're following me on Instagram and subscribe to this cooking channel and to the Small Dice channel for more Black History Month videos. Remember, cooking doesn't have to be that hard, so why don't you get into the kitchen and make something? Yum yum!